Good evening, everyone. I am a slightly beat up Brad Chester. I'll be in the dark wearing glasses to even make it darker. And with me, I have a trio of young lads. I'm going to start with the youngest and go from there.
I'm Brian Horton, apparently younger than Brad today.
So much younger.
So much younger. Go on, Steven.
Oh, am I the next youngest?
You're the next youngest.
Oh, okay. I am Steven. Hi.
Oh, that was weird. We'll be ending today on that one.
Don't I need to switch to the
And,
table already?
And I am Tom, the most creeped out guy on this show now because I'm not sure what's going on with Steven.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm skin crawled a little bit on that one, Crowley.
Well, I mean, I gotta appease the fans, right? I had towering before, and then we went to Eldar bashing, so now I have to go for weirdness.
Weirdness. We're no longer. And we have to move the stream away from a school now, but that's okay.
So there was a large event this weekend run by our good friends at XPZ, and I heard that we had some people there, or at least a person.
California Cup. It was fantastic. And I want to throw some love. The XPZ crew gave me full. They took care of the old man. They took me in. They pushed me around on my walker. They took me everywhere. It was fantastic. Also, the event itself was super, super cool. One, he had banners up all over the walls, and after the event, he actually gave them. Took the event down if you won the faction specific award, and it was kind of open. We were grilling out. There was super cheap food, and everything was super chill. I mean, they had music going. The music made such a difference. It was so fun. It was just like you were vibing, playing some 40K at your friends. It felt super laid back. He had a crazy competitive cast of characters there. It was a great event, and I have to give him props. Thank you, Mr. Corrales. It was a good time.
I mean, Steven and his team, XPZ, are just top-notch players. Top-notch people, actually, not just players. And I don't know, I'm kind of jealous I wasn't there. But, hopefully they run an event soon that's not like in November. November is really hard for me to go to, with it being Black Friday month and my job. But hopefully I get to see one of them soon. Heard nothing but great stuff about it.
I really hope they do it, make it an annual thing, and they make the second one, because that one was it looked like a lot of fun from the outside. The judges did a really good job. I like the way they were casting it and everything, and keeping the interviews. Like, you could see where they were doing some really cool ideas. I liked it a lot.
I really liked their player spotlight. Thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they did. We had Anthony, Kenny, Valerie. We had all of everybody that was doing the stream. They were shoutcasting it, and they were doing interviews, and they were doing between game content and stuff like that. It was just fantastic. I think everybody did like a really, really good job about it to make it fun. You know what I mean? That's the big thing, is they want to keep making it fun, make it interesting, and making an environment where people felt that they were appreciated. And that was a big deal too. Like, I feel that like everybody knew that everybody involved in the stream, or sorry, in the game, everybody felt like they gave a shit. You know what I mean? They were trying to do their best.
That's awesome.
How did you feel about going back to player placed?
I still don't like it. It is what it is. Their terrain was very nice, by the way. It was a different player placed. He did a set middle objective, which I liked a lot. If you're gonna do player placed, it was a set play. You could still hide a little bit in it, but it was always open. You know what I mean, into the middle, if you got angles on it. So it wasn't just one giant piece that somebody could slap down or put a forest in the middle of it. So I do like set better, and I think that they're going towards doing set. He was talking about it. I don't know if that's 100%, but I do prefer set terrain more than I prefer player placed. But they had good terrain. You know what I mean? So it wasn't one of those things where they're doing player placed because they didn't have enough terrain. they had like so much painted terrain. It wasn't just they had terrain; they had like really pretty terrain, which is cool. I mean, it makes the environment. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even. I of course am not a hobby guy. Even though my Dreadnought was the most amazing model ever seen, played in a 40K event.
I'm gonna say no.
You did
But
get a little.
it was the best Brad Chester painted original model.
Oh man, that it was funny because Kenny kept having that model be in the background for all of the interviews specifically, so you could see it. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh,
You feel like the player place nature is what contributed a large portion to Melee doing so well at that event?
yes, because you can stage. You always have at least one of the objectives, the centers, one of the three. So you always have something to get some maneuver from the middle, and then you always have one piece where you can put on the objective. So you can always stage and have all your stuff on an objective. So your opponent has to do something about it 100% of the time.
Do you think that part might be contributing, since a lot of folks are switching over to GW style since it's a set GW terrain, why Melee is struggling extra this edition so far?
Agreed, because it's much more difficult, especially without like perfect staging areas. Sometimes you're going to have some real issues. Because if you have to take that extra turn or just a turn in the open, a lot of times that's not going to cut it for Melee. But we had some different results on that. So let's go over what actually happened over the weekend, because we also had a big tournament in Germany, the Raccoon Rumble.
Yeah, they did 170 players.
Yep, they had Eldari, Orcs, and CSM all going 6-0 for the top three, but they had a very strong showing of all kinds of different factions. Because the top 10, you go Eldari, Orcs, CSM, Templars, CSM, Eldari, Thousand Sons, Grey Knights, Thousand Sons, Black Templars. A little bit of difference here, you know what I mean? And you have to figure that the top 8 at Cali Cup was fantastic. It was wild. We had World Eaters, Dark Angels, running the Unforgiven, CSM, My Dark Angels, CSM, Thousand Sons, Death Guard, Chaos Demons, Death Guard. Well, that goes into 9, but whatever.
So
Yeah.
do you think seeing
Very unusual to have literally every faction in the top 8 be Chaos.
Yeah. It's all the fallen. All the fallen all the time.
First off, you can't call chaos anymore. They are the redeemed. There is no more chaos.
Luther did nothing.
yeah, sure. Anyway,
Luther
so
did
do you
nothing
think
wrong.
part of the reason that we're seeing more disparaging, more variety in the U.S. than we are seeing overseas is the WTC scoring differential? Because it feels like that when Eldari win, they do seem to win bigger, and that seems to give them a better standing in WTC.
True, I haven't thought about that as much with that, because they do get bigger wins. I would say that the things that I was playing over the weekend, I was very grindy, and a lot of armies are like that. The Death Guard armies are very grindy. So CSM gets really big wins also. I think CSM and Eldar are both putting up larger differentials when they win.
I mean, even with the Meta Monday, we see that there's a large amount of people that are switching over because Eldar has become significantly more difficult and it's more fragile. So there's a lot more people switching over to CSM from Eldar because CSM has more durability and a little bit more.
I think CSM plays well into it also, Crawley. You know what I mean? Like CSM, I think, has a favorable matchup into Eldari.
Oh, extremely good. Eldar's points have gone down so much now to the point where they can't really trade up, and CSM are still in a good spot for trading points.
Well, the other thing is also they don't have as much trash. So, like, very aggressive armies can sometimes just, if you're playing Eldari, even though you have all the tricks in the world with your speed, if somebody just damage checks you and gets up on top of you, you don't have the screens to take care of that kind of shit.
Well, and also because we have the way the meta keeps switching around, CSM does have the ability to just adapt with their thing, right? One of the things that we called out when we were doing the index reviews was, hey, lethal hits is not necessarily just good enough by itself, but lethal hits and sustained hits and fives, right? and it's just a lot in and of itself to be able to manage.
Yeah, KR, I agree on that. The Cali Cup tried to use different missions to really encourage people to do different play. So the eighth mission was a pretty skewed mission, but they were trying to have a unique mission set. I would probably have just rotated that into like the first 6 games, because I like having the top 8 usually be pretty plain Jane, just taking holds and stuff like that. But I get what they were trying to do. You know what I mean? They were trying to make it so that you had like a different feel for wins in a lot of things, so it wasn't just plain Jane all the time.
Didn't GW throw servo skulls up at like round 8 or 7 at Tampa to
Yeah,
mess with
it's
it?
bonkers. They literally play playing servo skulls, and they're not even playing the ritual. They're just like, you know what? Rituals seem too tame. Let's do servo skulls. Which is kind of why people are going, we should boycott that round. They want to walk out. It's just hilarious.
I think is there a top secret TO chat where you guys have where it's like the semifinals must be the most troll mission of the entire event?
Yeah.
Just throw all the competitive players off.
So I have a question.
I'm gonna go with no, but I know in one TO chat they were like, what can we do to piss people off the most? And I'm like, I don't know, have the ritual and servo skulls be the deciding things to make it into the top 8. And people were like, that's horrible, Brian. And I'm like, yes, what we could do. And I was like, that would piss people off. And they were like, yeah, that's too much. And I'm like, all right, fair.
No, Brad, question for you. Since you just went to an event this last weekend, you took Marines for your first event, right? The new Marine book.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us your top 2 units that performed, 2 units you wish that you maybe didn't have in the list, and give us your favorite dark horse, something you just kind of threw in there and it maybe worked out really well.
You want me to tell you the one that I didn't work out really well that you told me so on this first, so I can give you proper. So one,
Let's hear it.
the ballistas gets the ejector seat. I kept telling Tom I didn't want to put it in my list, but he was like, Brad, you have to play with one. It's going to be so good.
I tried to get you to take 3.
MVP over the weekend.
You try and take multiples like Brad. Those things are not good.
Yeah.
Trust 140. It's amazing, Tom. Okay.
Like, isn't the Ballistus and the Lancer literally almost the same cost, and the Lancer's like infinitely better?
Yes.
I've never talked. I don't like you, Steven. I don't want to talk to you. But yes, it was fantastically awful. So that guy's out. The MVP over the weekend was the Inceptors for sure. They were just money all the time. Closely followed by the Deathwing Command Squad. Felt fantastic. Just a 5-man with the Ancient attached to it. Especially with the player place, because I could just get it in places and just sit. I didn't use them super aggressive. They were just a great counterpiece for the whole weekend. Thing that I really wanted in my list, and I think I'm going to put in, matter of fact, I have to submit a list for Rumble tonight, is I think I'm going back to Whirlwinds. I was a little bit meh about Whirlwinds because of the loss of reroll wounds on Oath, but I really want something to pound out of just smash all those little units where I don't have to actually go back and get them for sure. Kill people scoring, and they do a consistent job of that. And if I'm going to bring one, I want to bring 2 because I want to make sure it's whatever it is I'm shooting at, it's dead. And also give myself more space because I've got a lot of reserves and things coming out from off board. So I really think that that's what I'm going to put into the list. I did like the way the list played. The list is a grinder though, man. It's not something that just blows you up. The other thing I think I'm switching over to from Lancers to Reapers if I'm not playing on player place terrain. Because player place terrain, I can guarantee myself longer lanes of fire. The Reapers just play a lot better in when I have to be close up in personnel. And they also get more volume. They're a little bit better. Actually, they're not a little bit better. They're a million times better at infantry because their main gun gets double exploding 6s against infantry. So, and you get a 10-point cost reduction, does devastating wounds. So those are the changes that I'll be making in the list. I really, the Libby, by the way, with Libyan Phobos armor with the infiltrators was also super money all weekend. Felt really, really good. Let me do a lot of things on objectives. The fact that they're not targetable within 12 and the infiltrators make you not be able to bring reserves in inside of 12, making them basically untargetable by any reserves. Felt great over the weekend. So the Marines had a lot of play. You just don't get any really easy games, you know. You have to make good decisions. But the Marines come with a nice toolkit. It felt very toolkitty. You had the ability to do things. It didn't feel like I was just slamming over stuff. But I always had like an answer.
See that?
Yeah, I could. Meta Monday's going in. Joey goes 2 Lancers, 3 turns. Took 2 Lancers, 3 turns to kill one of my guard tanks this weekend. Not impressed by 2. And the thing is, the 2 shots are too swingy for me. I really like when I'm looking at a nice, delightful bell curve, as opposed to the 2-shot roller coaster of results. So yeah. Brad, how disgusted with yourself are you from playing Dark Angels? So I run the risk of playing all things. I like to play anything. Also, I got challenged by Brandon, and I felt personally motivated to show that I could do some stuff with Marines. So I don't know. What were you guys' first thoughts on this? We didn't see. Go ahead.
First thoughts on your list, or
First thoughts on how you felt the stats for the weekend. Well, let's talk about that real quick, because we had some pretty wild things up here. Like Thousand Suns, for instance, decided to go buck wild and win 64% of their games.
Yeah.
Up from 49% since the data slate. I still think Thousand Suns has a lot of play. They can lose key pieces and really go down, but their initial matchups are crazy.
That list that you played against, the triple shooting,
triple Vortex Beast and triple Forge Fiend, man.
Yeah, I was like, that list looks like a blast and a half.
Nico, I have to give a shout out to Nico on that. Super fun game. We threw down. We were staying at the XPZ house. I'm calling him out again. We're all hanging out. I'm doing my thing where I sit down in a chair at the back because I'm old and I need some support. And we're all chatting, and him and his boy Grant go out, and they're gone for a while. They come back, and I look over and go, man, were you guys just plotting your tomorrow games against all of us? They're like, yeah. I go, come on in. I'll tell you all about my army and how to beat it. Let's do this. Let's just hang out. And everybody started laughing. Go ahead.
But I was going to say, one of my favorite moments of Salt City was the kid that was playing against you in the beginning of day 3, and he wanted to like understand how your army worked, and you were like, yeah, Crawley will play you with my list real quick to teach you how to play against it.
Yeah, exactly.
I did a practice game that night so I could show him how to beat Eldar with this list.
Love it. Lyle coming with a $5 super chat. Brad didn't win a soft event. Yeah, exactly. Soft event. There's so many. The game was so hard. There's 100 some players with a ton of top level people. Didn't win a soft event with Marines. Brandon's right. Marines trash tier confirmed. Screw you, Brandon. Damn it. I could have won that. I'm a contender. Yeah, dice with rice. Removing armor saves good. Who knew?
Especially more as the meta continues, because now like Marines are becoming more popular. We're seeing a lot less invulns in the meta right now, which is and then they also have a significant amount of dev wounds. So that's it's an interesting conundrum that Thousand Suns bring.
The best thing I saw over the weekend, one of the XPZ boys just brought a Thunderhawk and was doing super well with it, by the way, until he played a Thousand Suns player, Nico, who did turn off the saves of the Thunderhawk and then proceeded to blow it out of the sky.
Oh, that's sad. And hilarious all at the same time.
It was a good time. Still frosty. So the Ohio brand sandwich, so you did win the GT with Marines. I did make a lofty goal. I shouldn't have talked so much shit about that. I should have went with immediate GT win with my list. This is funny because I did just kind of come up with the list as he doing the awards. He goes, "Best Archangels, Brad Chester." After a man that made a list on a napkin and gave it to me in the middle of the night and told me to get it. I'm like, this would be even more funny if it wasn't so true. Like, I did not get one of Vince's spare kilts, but and Yurik showed up with a kill, which was hilarious. Also, we had so many good players at this event; it was just stacked. So, it was a ton of fun. We were playing like hard games, like all over the place. It was really good. I love the grilling out, by the way. I just go back to that grilling out music. It literally felt like you were just hanging out. You know, you're playing super hard games. I love that you're creating that feel. I wish more events could create the feel of playing 40K in the backyard kind of vibe, with some music playing and some grilling out, while still keeping a very competitive, crazily competitive atmosphere. You know what I mean? So it was a very nice blend.
What would you change the list now?
Say again.
How would you change the list now?
I just told you.
You told us that. Yeah,
You just told us.
like
Crawley,
More.
that was Crowley apparently didn't pay attention to the first 10 minutes of the show.
Crawley doesn't pay attention to me anymore.
I
That's
listened
hurtful.
to the benefits and the negatives. I was trying to get it written out. I might be copy pasting.
I'm going to send it there. So,
Listen. I have a somewhat important event in a week and a half, okay? And I might not have still figured out what I'm going to play yet. This is the way.
this is the way.
Brad has a very important game in a week and a tournament in a week and a half as well, where he's going to the boys and getting handed an army by someone.
Yep. I want to call this out because this is one of my favorite things I'm looking forward to, which is going to a tournament and not having any idea what I have to play. Just going in blind. It's pretty funny.
Legitimately, we still haven't figured out what we're handing you yet, because we tried finding a painted Votan army and we can't find one at the moment that's ready for you.
Even better,
So,
play unpainted, because it would just be easier to spot his army from across the room. There'll be plenty of those, I promise.
It's fantastic.
You should give Brad 3 armies, and then every round his opponent gets to pick which one he plays against.
Now that would be
the most amazing thing ever.
The funny thing is I might be one of the few people that can play that because I play so many armies and just ban everything.
I think Brad go 1 and 5 in that event.
I give myself a good 2 and 4. Like this, Celestine. Real talk. Do you think Core Codex Marines need to remove chapter lock special units? Not until they get their own special stuff, to be honest with you. So you don't really have things to put around your Vulcans and your Shrikes and everything right now. So you kind of have to let them be where they are.
I did like the diversity that we saw across the Marine builds over the weekend. Like, I know the meta's not solved by any means, right? But you see so many different crazy combinations of things where it's just like that makes.
Oh my God, Brad! Someone just messaged me that they have a fully painted guard infantry army that you can play.
Well, it looks like a lot of concedes are coming in. Brad Chester 0-6 over the weekend.
Ooh, still Frosty Gaming. Maybe he should take World Eaters since he choked against them twice.
Too soon.
Oh, and Lyle with the super chat. Crawley should play World Eaters.
Obviously play World Eaters. Those guys have bite. I mean, especially again in player place terrain. It depends. You can do some serious action to them. The thing about it is they have, and you saw this in multiple games. Myself, my last game with them, and against Spatha. If you have to have a little bit of luck anytime you're playing aggressive armies. You know what I mean? You have to have any army. You have to have a little bit of luck going with you, just because they can have some key pieces removed like very early, makes the game very hard for them. Same thing that the Thousand Suns problem is they start to lose critical mass and then have an issue with continuing through. But we've had people do have some really big success with Warlords. You had Harpster had a really great run. You've had Vanilla now with a great run. You've had a couple other players. I think that if you give them a lot of more tactical look, they can really play, because people can't. They have such a range of attack that, especially if you get good places to sit and you're able to sit on objectives, you can really threaten people off, and you get auto points basically.
I was looking at it like 'cause I was curious after your game with him, right? And I spun up Tabletop Simulator and I tried trying to deploy his list on the normal layouts for GW. I just don't know how you would effectively do it on GW style with orc terrain, right? Like it becomes this weird dynamic of the hopscotch points aren't very effective and the shooting angles are so large, right? Like there's some missions that are just like automatically win, but then there's other missions that you're going to be like, oh my god, what do I do?
World Eaters are good because Custodes got hammered. Change my mind. Hint, you can't.
I can't change my part because you're correct.
So, Meta Monday, what's wrong with Nidge? You played against him versus Synaptic as guard, and you weren't impressed. Nids have, in my opinion, a lot of flexibility and a steep learning curve. I think the Synaptic lists are, if depending on which variant you run of it, are really tough to run, and you have to be very good at piloting them. And if your opponent understands how to pick part of those out, there's a problem. I think that their better build right now is the Endless Swarm variant. And I think that's what'll be more impressive, but Guard don't have a ton of problem against, 8 billion bodies.
I think that in the army is difficult to play at the highest levels, but it does have all the tools. Like Gargoyles are one of the most amazing units in the game. And they've got just a lot of trash out there. I think that they have play. I think that we're looking at doing tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Rice and I will be doing Deal With It Tyranids. So we'll be talking about a lot of these things. And I agree on it. It's going to take a lot of generalmanship. I don't think that the Codex is lacking. I think that it's going to be a lot of adapting and playing your best into the meta.
Didn't they win like 3 events this weekend?
Did they?
Tyranids?
Tyranids were...
Two events this weekend.
Yeah. They're 48%, so they're still in the sweet spot for it.
Yep.
I'm going back to the Meta Monday data, by the way. The Black Templars have been crazily consistent, by the way, in any version that they play, but also. So you've seen most of their games are coming from Ironstorm, as they're taking very vehicle-heavy armies, but they're putting up good win rates. The Ironstorm's been doing very well with them. Having that extra multi-melta is a big deal also. It's just one more big gun, for the Black Templar versions of the vehicles.
Question for you, Brad.
Penny.
You said you liked going to the Reaper, right? So I had someone message me something. I'll just give it to you while we're in chat. It's kind of cool. You're going to the Reaper. Is that going to change your Inceptors to all plasma, or do you still like the bolters?
Still like the bolters. I really, really... I was hemming and hawing about my Inceptor layouts, and I want the bolters. I took 336 and Inceptors, and I wouldn't change the 3-man for nothing, for their bolters, because I wanted that volume. I wanted to be able to put a big volume on a trash squad with those double exploding 6s. But I really did enjoy the 6-man plasma. I don't like the 3-man as plasma, but I like the 6-man as plasma because sometimes you just needed that AP. You can pop the strat, you can look for plunging fire, but that 3 damage plus a big AP was just needed to pick up hard squads sometimes. You can do some serious work into a lot of things too. Termies and things.
If you shoot something 12 inches away, 12 to 16, make your plasmas hit on 2 is AP4.
Oh, maybe I'm going to go back to that, but I want to go to Lyle's $5 super chat question, which is, speaking of Tyranids, which Christmas box is the best way to start a new competitive army? And some of these boxes look pretty boss mode, by the way.
World Eaters is fantastic.
I was going to say, I think World Eaters is the best of the holiday bundles for the building an army straight out of it going. And Leagues of Votann, both of those are pretty impressive. Votann, you get 10 Terminators, a Sagittar, Land Fortress, and some kind of HQ. Both of those are amazing values because their retail price is roughly what last year's were. I can't divulge that because I'm a retailer right now. We're not allowed to tell the pricing out on that. But they're in line with what you would expect.
The Orc one seems legit.
The Orc one's really good. I don't know how good the kill rig is right now.
Yeah, but it's just looking for total value of what you could use sometime, because almost everything in here except for the kill rig is something I'm already using in my list. So I felt really good about that. But it's just a value of for the models in the box itself, when you're looking for a collection.
I think as the edition progresses, that the stuff in that Space Marine box, which has been selling very well and very popular, I still think those Assault Marines are no joke. I haven't played with them enough to give them a solid answer yet, but I like them. But that's me. That's my play style.
Agreed on that. I think those boxes look fantastic, really.
I think I will want to get one or two of the Spearhead Force just to be able, because I can use the majority of the stuff from that anyway. I think the only dead thing is the ATV for me.
Yeah, I think people buying 3 of that Votan box is going to be a very common way to start an army.
Yeah, that would be like, you need that and like a combat patrol in your set for Votan.
The World Leaders one seems amazing. Like, that's just what you take in an army. It's
literally perfect, except you can't duplicate it.
Yeah, true.
You're buying one of that one, but it's pretty spiffy.
Oh,
yeah, there's a person who said what the cost of them are at retail in the in the chat. I can't say that number, but that number is correct. So if you're buying them at 15% off retail, like at the art store, which the artstorecny.com, pre-orders go up on Saturday at midnight. So yeah, you'll be able to grab some boxes.
I do think it to be the question in there, Danny, is three of the Votan is actually your entire collection. You could make any army almost out of that.
Yeah, you just some troops to throw some calls on.
Yeah.
That's it.
We probably need, if you want to run the Sagittar build, you need 2 more Sages, but like you're not going wrong with that, to be honest. You'll use everything in there.
Yep.
It's really good.
Yeah, the guard box is really cool because it comes with 2 Dorns, which is kind of fun. But it's definitely not your super competitive list.
Hey, remember, if you buy a Dorn and you're taking to events, that as long as you put 4 magnets on the bottom of your Dorn, you can fit 15 guardsmen in your Dorn hole for transportation purposes.
In your Dorn hole.
Literally, I was talking to what's his name, Brant, about that, because he saw me opening the bottom of the Dorn, because I use just a normal sheet of paper, toilet paper, not toilet paper, the stuff from the kitchen. Anyway, and then inside there, I just had all my guardsmen. I would just pick them out and put them on the tray from there.
You're just making them run the tank like Fred Flintstone, just like running with it.
That's why you have footprints behind it when it drives through snow.
I know what? I like where Danny's head's going on this, because he goes, okay, now big question. Which AOS box set looks coolest model-wise to you? And
the Soul Blight Gravelords box set is awesome. Absolutely amazingly cool models, because the vampire HQ that comes in there with the down wings is just super cool.
Dude, the Praetorian Spearhead is boss mode. I think might be boss mode because of the paint job they put on it. But this is one I wouldn't mind having this, because of the fact that a lot of the models convert to 40k though, so you could use them for both. This counts as.
That's fair. There's a lot. I mean, the AOS army box sets this year are much better than the ones I had last year. The Seraphon one is going to be amazing because it's mostly all new models, and that army did just come out fairly recently, so it's going to be a really nice way for people to hop onto a new army.
Sylvanus was really good last year. I know, granted, the Branch Witch or whatever, the one the chick that's a tree Gundam doesn't multiply very well, but it did have a good amount of dryads and oh gosh, I'm giving it my AOS-ness.
Delightful AOS-ness.
Last year it was oh god, the Hedonites of Slanesh one was the one that just wasn't popular at all. They sat around for a long time.
Yeah, until the book came out.
Well, yes, then the book came out and they vanished.
Then you could not find that carnival box anywhere. Oh man.
So
Michael, you're right. That Skaven box set was nice last year. The problem is those Skaven models are 25 years old that were in that box set for the most part. So it's a little one of those things where if you had Skaven, you weren't getting a new one.
I like it though. I like where we're going with this. I enjoy when GW puts out good box sets with good basically bases of armies, you know what I mean? They've had great deals sometimes on box sets with just a net amount of models or just niche armies kind of thing. I feel like they're putting a lot more with a lot of them. The guard one, no, but a lot of them have just like, hey, I could get this and play this army forever, you know what I mean? This is everything I'm gonna need, and I like that quite a bit.
I agree.
Fucking playmaker. Sure, I was -4 when the models came out. I didn't know them. Yeah, whatever. He's a baby. Now, I want to go back to the
and speaking on the models, before we get off the model thing, for just 1 second, the red Gobbo that's coming out is Santa Claus on a chimney. If that's not one of the coolest orc models, and also the 40K rules for that, if you haven't read them, go read them. Really fun. Actually looks like a good tournament model. Really interesting. Just that's my little take. God.
You know what? I like this a lot. One plus save is one of my things that I think a lot. He goes, in GW's defense, all the boxes usually great value. He goes, I usually snag them and wait for the meta to circle back. Yeah, that's my big thing is if you're getting just a lot of shit in a box that don't get shit in a box. But if you get a lot of stuff in the box, just grab it. Because again, everything gets bad. Things that were good are now bad. Things that are bad are now good. So it just increase the size of your closet space.
Mm-hmm.
All of the things.
And Brad, did you look at the Red Gobbo's rules for this year?
I did not. I have to take a look at that. I want to check that out. I'm looking forward to, we're gonna go down he's gonna make me go down a lore train. And again, if you guys want to check out my new lorecast, 40klorecast.com, 40K lorecast everywhere. Yes, I did make sure that I added every single place could be 40K lorecast. But the question was, what faction, basically from the lore, should the GW add next? I would go with Lizardmen.
Cult.
Slam.
They need Chaos Guard before they need anything else, I think. Or Dark Titanicus. One of the two.
I'd like to see Exodites.
Oh, I mean, yes. 1,000% for me, Exodites, for jumping on top on that. That would be my favorites. Is that a dinosaur with a dark lance on his head?
Why, yes, it is.
Yeah.
T Lake, one of our boys, he has a fully converted Exodite army, and it's fucking gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Ever since I've seen him play, it makes me want to play it.
Yeah, Exodites it's been what I wanted as my jam for forever. And it does make a good point. Because my only complaint is when they put a bunch of things that folks have been clamoring for in those bundles. Sagittars especially, out for months and now they're in a Christmas box. They sigh.
I wasn't going to touch that, but yeah, 8-bound haven't been available for how long, and now suddenly we have enough for this many Christmas boxes.
All right, can I go over the Red Gobbo's rules just because?
Hell yeah, you can.
Red
All right,
Goblin.
so the Red Gobbo, he's got a movement 6, toughness 2 because he's a Gretchen, 4+ invulnerable save, 3 wounds, leadership 7, OC 1. Who cares? He's got a custom Grot Blasta, 12-inch range, D3 attacks, 3+ blow skill, strength 5, AP -1, 2 damage. His melee weapon is really just a close combat weapon that's strength 3, but he's deep strike, lone operative, WOG, but I love this aura ability. Explosive presence. When a Gretchen unit is within 6 inches of this model, that unit has the grenades keyword. And each time such unit uses the grenade stratagem, add 1 to the result of each die roll for how many mortal wounds are inflicted.
What? That's bonkers town. Also, grenade strat, most underused thing in the game.
Yep.
So
and then he has no revolution. Once per battle round. The start of any phase, you can select one friendly Gretchen unit that is battle shocked within 12 inches of this model, and it's no longer battle shocked.
Boss mode. Also,
he is, and here's the fun part. He is a whopping 40 points.
I'm down with that.
Tom, just so you know, this chat says that they can read your messaging with your peeps through your glasses. They're zooming and enhancing that hard into your face.
Enhance.
So, in my opinion, the Red Gobbo, if you play orcs and you need to go buy one of these when they come out, it's awesome.
But he's legend.
I'm really glad they can read my. I'm trying to make.
I was told that he was legends.
So the last model was, this has a brand new war scroll that is available on Warhammer Community as of right now.
That is legit. That's awesome.
I want this guy in my life.
Gretchen throwing grenades.
Dude.
Yeah.
Grenade strat's like wild. Dude, I use it so much. Being able, rolling 6 dice every 4 up is immortal, and that guy making them 3 ups. Whoo! Whoo! That's spicy. You know what? I haven't put anything up today. I'm a little beat up today, but just for that, I might give little Ric Flair.
Kyle, what is your question? We weren't ignoring you just because Lyle is trying to super chat over you.
Well, that's how they are.
Watch Lyle super chat over him again.
Right, as soon as we say anything to Kyle. I don't think so.
Oh, wait, hold on. The super chat.
Tom has realized that he hasn't submitted his list for Rumble yet, so now he's panicking to try to make a list to submit for Rumble.
I was like, we gotta make a list. I was like, oh,
hey, Brad,
shit.
we have a fix my list opportunity. You want to fix Tom's list?
We're gonna have to do it after, mainly because I haven't submitted my list either.
That's what reminded me. I'm like, I'll go to this fucking list.
Oh, if only KR. The extra CP, I do want. I'm going to bitch about this. I'm going down this road, damn it. Why are chapter masters not allowed to go with whoever the hell they want? They lead the whole goddamn chapter. The fact that, like, Azrael and a couple of, Vulcan, whoever, why do they have to join 4 guys in an a cappella band? Or the janitor and 3 dudes? They should just be like, hey, man, Terminators, you're coming with me. Because I run this place, bitch. Come on. That's ridiculous.
Kyle, the answer to your question is, he wants to know what army you take if you were going to take down a big event. If you're
going to Worlds right now, what are you taking?
You're either, if it was me, and I had my choice of any army on the shelf, I'm either taking Eldar or Chaos Space Marines. I think Chaos Space Marines is a hair better, so that's what I would take.
CSM probably for me.
What are you taking, Raleigh?
I think Eldar. I think that the Yin Karn, like, Eldar has like maybe no bad matchups except for maybe CSM, and the Yin Karn just literally wins games. I mean, there literally were games at Nova where I would walk over to Brad's table 3 minutes into the game and be like, I Yin Karned on turn 1.
Yeah.
And,
This also, night spinners are a hell of a drug. Oh, guys, but what I have to stop for just a moment, what we're talking about with Kyle's question. To give Lyle Dixon $2 super chat of F Kyle.
oh man.
Does the incarn ability work against infiltrators?
The Incarn.
That counts as reinforcements, right?
No,
No.
because GW has ruled that the Incarn's ability does not count as a reinforcement in that
It's
way.
not a reinforcement. It's the redeployment or something. And because he already breaks the rules because he could be 1.1 inches away.
The
from
Red
us.
Gobbo is Legends. It says it's a Legends download in the text, but it doesn't say it on the data sheet.
Oh, you got me.
GW's got to do a better. GW's got to do a better job with that. It's in very small text.
Oh man,
So stupid. Anyway,
Maybe she does get stopped. I don't honestly know. It's been a zoo every time that you go into this because it goes into the rare rules around repositioned units, and every TO decides to read those paragraphs differently. So at this point, just ask your TO. That's your best answer.
I'm looking at it. I think it gets stopped.
I have a question on this. Is besides Eldari, which has just been winning, period. Since the data slate, is CSM the most consistent army? I mean, they literally did another 55% win rate. They've won 16 events, only second to Eldari, and they've been 55% pretty much every week. You know what I mean? They also most games played out of any single faction. So they're representing at a high win rate, and they're very consistent.
No, I think you're right. I don't think. I think she ignores it because she don't have the reinforcement keyword in her setup.
That's where that usually comes from. Is TOs will say that she doesn't go into strat reserves, so she doesn't count as a reserved unit. So even though
it also doesn't say, usually if something's set up as a reinforcement, it'll say it in its ability. She doesn't say that at all. So I think she ignores it.
Does from the golden light ignore it? Oh, sorry. No, never mind. Anyway, CSM, incredibly consistent, and I think significantly easier to play than Eldar because they're more point and click, and you also have really good aggressive fast troops that have access to lethal or sustained as you need with full rerolls. So I think CSM is in a really good spot, and the army is less finesseful. I'm not going to say easier to play. That's not fair, but it's less finesseful, right? You can mess up, and you still have durability. You have 5-up invulns on your tanks. A lot of things just have 5-up invulns innately because chaos. Yeah. Also, Nurgle Strat's a hell of a drug.
Yes, it is. Nurgle Strat is a hell of a drug. The
Marines for me, so I think I can take it on with that one. Marines. I'm excited to get back out there.
Yeah, they're new on that. So, League of Wotan's a pick on that. That army does some mad damage. Hasn't took down a ton of events. It has took down 5. It is one of the most improved since the data slate, though. I think they're starting to become more consistent.
Do you still think that Tau is in a really good spot? Because I know that you guys were hard on Tau, and now not so much.
No, it's just they were really fun for for a couple weeks. But I think as me and Brad and other players were playing them a lot, you could really see how to block them. Like you think they're super fast because they move 18 inches, until you realize they got to go around fucking everything.
Yeah, it depends on your terrain setups.
Sucks now.
It really depends on your terrain sets. So, but I do still think that they have mad power. So, I'm looking forward to Codex.
I think you just blow out the table extremely quick. You play against one top player who understands the Tau gimmick, it's over.
Yeah, it's the big deal in that. So, excuse me. I don't. We've had some really good win rates here, like really consistent. Man, we've had some bad weekends for the bottoms, though. Yeah. So
Yukari won an event, so
Yukari did win an event.
Balanced meta. It's all done. Yukari won.
I mean, Skari did win with Yukari, right?
Yeah.
This weekend. Yeah.
We've got a skew on some of the Marine stuff because they've been putting up 40%, but then like other parts of them are putting up 50+%. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to nail down where the Marines are at right now, to be honest with you, because we've had a lot of variety in win rates with them. Case 324, not 199 super chat. How was Cali Cup? I heard you danced. I did dance. I danced so much. We had music. Cali Cup was amazing. I was dancing all the time. Apparently, I didn't know they put the spy cams about the room. They had multiple cams for the stream. They kept going into different games and stuff like that. And I was definitely on camera shaking my mojo down. So it was fantastic. I had such a great time. Great tournament. 5 out of 5 would recommend. It was all good on this. What are your guys' thoughts with we've had enough data to really make it, but like Tom, what do you think that the best, not just for you, but what do you think the best, I'll go around, Marine is going to be, predictions for the future? Because we've only had like a couple weeks here where they were legal for tournaments.
I think Black Templar Iron Storm is going to be really, really strong and hard to beat. I think that list it's just extremely durable, just absolutely bonkers and durable. It can put a lot of firepower. I think it's great on GW. I think it's not as good on player placed because you're just going to see too many armies that can stage against it and then get into it before it gets a chance to unload. But I think Vanguard is the way of the future. Like, it's just, there's a lot of tricks to it, a lot of nuances, a lot of things we're figuring out, and people are playing it differently. Like, me and you're both playing Vanguard. I'm playing a very hard-hitting Ultramarine list, and you're playing a tricksy Dark Angel list. So, I think I think Vanguard's the strongest, but I think Black Templars or even Iron Hands and the Iron Storm could be really good as well.
What about yourself, Crowley?
I think Dark Angels are by far the strongest. Their character action activities are some of the strongest. I think they run really well in all of them. Like, you can run a very strong Iron Storm, you can run a very strong Gladius, you can run a very strong Stormlance. I think that Vanguard out of the detachments is the weakest, but that also is colored by my thinking that Dark Angels is the strongest because they're the weakest of the Vanguard detachments, in my opinion. But yeah, I just don't see the way everything is currently evolved. We're more in a smashing, like Hulk and smashing robots kind of meta right now, more so than we are in a delicate, intricate play meta, and I think that's why we're seeing Vanguard perform less.
How about yourself? Or what is your prediction?
So I think that Black Templar Vanguard is going to become something interesting as time progresses here. I think as the nuance changes a little bit in the meta, as we get a little bit more less shooty focus. But I think right now I agree with Tom that I think the Iron Spearhead with Black Templar is just fantastic. I just think it's very easy to play for an average player. There's a lot of forgiveness to it. It's got a pretty straightforward play style. It makes it kind of fun. And a little birdie told me that Gladiators were in stock on GW's website today, so I assume you're going to see many more of those hit the tables very shortly.
Also, yes, Anvil does not actually exist as an attachment. Stop pinging me on the side. It absolutely does not exist. It is not there.
And he coming in with, yeah, baby, Horton reading my mind. I'm doing Black Templar, Vanguard, and Everwinter. Paint Celestine. No one talks about First Company. It's like Fight Club. You don't talk about First Company. And it makes a good point. Not a lot of people have found the secret sauce yet, especially in the win rate we've seen. The Firestorm having advance and shoot, they basically make all of your weapons assault. It gives them a lot of flexibility. I don't know. A lot of their strats, though, are very up close and personal. And with the meta as holy shit damaging as it is, especially with like CSM and stuff like that, man, if you have to get up close and you have a bad turn, that's the problem. Is you're just like, hey, I need to kill this, and I didn't kill all of it. Now I'm standing here going, hey guys, my bad on that. Let's talk about this another day. This is really an awkward moment. I'm gonna walk away now.
I think one of the coolest things that Dark Angels does is the Terminator Squad with the command attachment.
Oh, it's
It's
fantastic.
just it's just ridiculously good. I'm standing here. It reminds me of my old list. I'm standing here, and it's like, do you want to shoot at me and waste stuff, or do you want to do everything else? But you put it in like in the middle, and you're just like, cool. This is my castle. And on GW style, where there's not usually generally an easy line directly to the center unless you're on hammer, it's like, cool. This is my place. And you have the custodes problem. Do you charge them when they get all their buffs? Like, oops.
All the things all the time.
100%.
Gentlemen, let's start.
150%.
Ask Vanilla how that worked for him against Matho. 4 units went in, and at the end of the next turn, there was no units left in the center, but there were still Terminators.
and reproducing them.
Yes.
So, gentlemen, I want to have everybody. Let's start with some. Throw out your promotions. I'll start in the top right corner, Mr. Brian Horton. Throw out your things you want to talk about to everyone.
So my thing that I want to talk about to everyone is support your local game store. If you are in your local area, it's the time of year where those people are deciding whether or not they can make it for another year. The holiday season's upcoming. Stop in, buy some local gifts there. Remember, we don't just do Warhammer. You might have friends and family that play board games. Stop in and grab them something from your local store instead of grabbing it on Amazon. That's what I'd like to promote.
Tom?
The boys.
The boys.
Okay, enough said.
Du Bois might have 1 ticket left for 40K the last I looked, and we had a couple Horus Heresy tickets left, and if you want it, hop on now.
Greg, yes. Jump Chaplain should be able to go with Death Company 1,000%. Crawley, what have you been up to? Where are you going? Where are you going to be?
I will be at the Wardhammer World Champ, whatever we're calling this thing, in 2 weeks.
The Death Ninja Assassin Games.
Yeah, messaging Brad and saying, "Man, I could have been at Du Bois this weekend." But other than that, I just want to promote good kinship. Right, we're getting close to the end of the ITC season. Remember, everybody have a good time. Focus on sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is the most important thing. Have a good time. Love your brother. Paint something for your friend who doesn't paint.
Whoa. Don't forget the sisters, because there is female 40K players.
And sisters. I'm sorry. Sisters can be bros too.
Yeah.
Perseverance.
Yeah. Paint something for one of your good friends that doesn't have painted models. Do something nice.
Yeah, paint some stuff for me.
Go finger paint models for Brad's army. You saw the colors on stream. You should have an entire army that's all finger painted just like that.
Do you know what my favorite thing about Brad is? He just don't give a shit what his models look like. I'll never forget. I went to the first ACO, and that was when I was at my Dark Angel run, and everyone came up to want to check me out and like talk. 'Cause I was like the one player trying to make Marines work against the Drakari meta, and then I got grilled because I had like my attack bikes looked absolute shit because I had to paint them before the event because mine didn't get back from commission banner yet. And it like bothered me to the core where I never took like a shitty army to a tournament again. But yet Brad's showing up to like rainbow finger painted models that don't even look good from afar. I don't even want to know what it looks like front and close, and he's loving it.
It looked fucking awesome is what you meant to say.
Like the whole time they were like, "Hey, look at Brad's snow bases. Those oversprayed white bases. They're it's the Haas paint scheme."
Bro, I took painting to the next level. You guys are just jealous.
Yeah. I wish you could take painting to the next level, Brad. It'd be nice.
He does take it to the next level.
If we could just get him to sit down and focus for 5 minutes, we really could teach Brad how to paint.
No, the thing is this. Brad has run out of people who will loan him well-painted armies. Because even when he puts the effort into trying to keep them together and bring them home properly, they always get fucked up.
That's a lie, damn it. One time.
Listen, if Brad didn't fuck him up, TSA's got his back. Like, don't worry, bro. Don't worry. You forgot that. I got it for you.
Bro, I took pictures of the models that I borrowed from Brad at Nova because they were in such bad shape that I wanted to make sure I had evidence of the state they were in before they were given to me, so that snakes didn't.
You
kill
know
them.
what, guys? It is hurtful talk. This is hurtful talk, and I'm gonna edit this right out of this fucking as soon as we get here.
You don't want to edit, Brad. You can't even get the stream on sometimes. Like, we'll be in the middle of a stream and it'll just shut down for 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, Brad's at it again. And now he's gonna be editing. Get out of here.
Look, man,
You don't edit.
I could. You don't know that.
Hey, Brad's gonna edit it. He's gonna hold his finger over his camera and go, right, that's edited.
Hey Brian, I need you to make him paint a model for Du Bois. Like, I need to see a video on the Death or Glory thing, a 5-minute excerpt of him painting while drunk at Du Bois.
You
All
know,
right,
he's-
so
You know
Brad, are
what?
getting there on edit Brad?
I'm going down with this with KR. He goes, if he picks an army, I'll paint a unit. Let's have a Brad charity army. He just wins.
Yeah.
Yes.
This needs to be the LVO project.
I just show up with all things from everywhere.
Brad's LV Army's already picked.
Only if everybody puts their name on all the bases too. Like, so I can have each and every person that put a unit in my army.
That would be.
I don't care what Brad puts in as his list. He's gonna show up. He's only gonna have a Drukari army. That is it.
Probably be the most broken thing ever for LVO now. You won't play it then. Okay.
Love it.
On that note,
So,
stay milky.
stay milky, my friends.